All right, we are live. Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
It has finally come, and I'm going to be interested to see the box office numbers tomorrow for the opening night.
Well, technically, opening night's tomorrow.
Yeah, but they always have the Thursday numbers. I'm just kind of curious as to see how this goes, because right now...
I'm not worried about numbers. Let's just get on with the review.
Okay,
Please.
okay.
Thanks.
Oh, God. Okay, anyway, this is the live recap
video.
of Captain Marvel, the latest entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well,
We just got back from seeing it, and I want just the first couple of minutes to just give like really quick initial thoughts on it, a rating, and then we'll talk spoilers right after that.
I don't want to give a rating at the beginning
I
of
know.
the video.
We never do that.
No.
Okay, well, if y'all want a rating, you're going to have to hold on until the end of the... Just
Well,
fast forward to the end
like
of the video.
normal.
Typically.
Yeah.
What the?
Okay, well, my big thing was, hey, James, and hey, Fawn.
Hey, people.
My
like
thing
us.
was that if you... Like, I wanted to give everybody kind of a non-spoiler just for the people who pop in at the very beginning and then be like, okay, from here on, we're going to do spoilers.
Like we normally do. Okay, cool.
Yeah. But, okay, well, if y'all want a number rating, you're just going to have to wait till the
Can
end.
we introduce ourselves?
Yes, I'm
Thanks.
Lonnie.
This is Untitled Nerd Network.
Oh.
I'm Amberlicious.
And I'm Ashley.
Did I not say
We
that?
are
No, you
Untitled
didn't.
Nerd Network, brought to you by
Infinity Flux.
and your local satanist out of the Chattanooga, Tennessee area.
And to think, you think we can't do shit without you.
You know what? This is fitting though, because it's Captain Marvel, so the women are taking charge.
I don't know. I just don't even know. How was the after credits? They were really good. They were
Yeah.
really, really good. We'll get to that in a minute.
We will very shortly.
But the after credits were really good.
The movie. Look, I'm going to go like I've heard really mixed. The movie's been the victim of review bombs and all this other craziness, and I went in hoping that this movie was good. I went in with just the highest of hopes, probably beyond.
I couldn't wait. 'Cause
Any other
this was
movie.
all backstory.
Mm-hmm.
This was backstory to everything, not just Captain Marvel. This was backstory to Avengers.
They actually didn't give a whole lot of backstory on her. They skimmed her origin. They really packed it into about a
They did
15-minute.
really good with it, though.
They did.
I think without it being just too much.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Especially, because
Yes, James said, "You are the weakest link, Lonnie. Goodbye."
Bye.
I'm not setting this one out. I don't care.
We didn't ask you to.
I've been this movie's like biggest freaking cheerleader over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, you have.
This God, it was so good. Like, yeah, they had you got to see her origin, but it wasn't drawn out over half the movie.
Yes.
Well, you have to think too. We're 11 years into the MCU.
Yeah.
So to just introduce a new character, we have no history with her. There's no 3-movie franchise like there are with most of the other characters. So they had to do a brief overview while also making you really care about her, and they did a great job of doing
They
both
really
of those
did.
things. Mm-hmm.
They did an excellent job of that. I was impressed because I was like, I want to know her backstory, but I do not want this to be the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I probably
This wasn't an origin story of a character movie. It wasn't. It really felt like, a big giant part of the MCU. It was great.
Yes.
Yeah. It was
like
really well placed.
It was like a big piece of the puzzle that we didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
I loved
really
it.
liked
I will say, without giving any spoilers, we did find out what happened to Fury's eye. We will cover that here shortly.
This is great.
I'm trying. We got to see the Skrulls. I was very surprised at how they were treated in the movie compared to how they typically have been in the comic books. We did get to see a crap ton of characters. Was the dude, was the Kree, one of the Kree soldiers, the black dude, was he the one that confronted Peter Quill at the very beginning of the Guardians of the Galaxy when he was like, "I'm Star Lord," and he was like, "Who?"
Yeah,
I'm
I'm pretty
sure.
certain.
I believe that was
I'm
him.
very certain that was him.
I'm gonna have to like do some
I
research.
told you
after.
to look it up in the car.
I didn't think about it.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same dude. Because
Yeah.
we saw an appearance from other Guardians of the Galaxy characters. I don't know how much is spoiler territory, so I don't want to say who, but
Oh, the first? I'll go ahead and tell y'all the first 20 minutes. It really kind of got to me. The opening they have a opening. You know how like they have the comic pages flipping and Marvel Studios 10 years or whatever. Well, it wasn't 10 years now, and it was like a Stan Lee tribute.
That was really nice.
God.
yeah, it was
They
clips,
did that perfect. It was all
clips of his cameos
yeah.
and also behind the scenes like photos with the characters and
And it
at
reminded
the
you
movie premieres.
of how much he really loved
Yeah.
what he did.
Mm-hmm.
He was smiling
Yeah.
and laughing in every picture. It was great.
Yep. We also got a preview for the next Spider-Man movie before
Yeah.
Captain Marvel.
Oh my god.
So that alone was
Can't
awesome
wait.
too. That's gonna be great. Yeah,
I love Spider-Man.
I love the Spider-Man franchise. Yeah.
I'm not able to. I'm gonna have to like do some heavy digging into IMDb and stuff because he wasn't like a main character. He's
Right.
gonna take some kind of scrolling through some stuff.
Right.
So, well, wait, what?
I was gonna say-
the link between G1 Avengers and G2.
It's missing.
No, not. You're talking about Captain Marvel? Like, I mean, there's been. This is technically Generation 3 of the Avengers because you had the Generation 1 that led up to the first movie. The second generation had, like, Vision and. What?
That's not what he's talking about with that comment.
Oh, okay.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Like the link. Right? The link between everything.
I have no clue. I don't know what's
Anyway.
going anyway. So.
Mr. Wolf.
Yeah, I know, I saw that. Yeah, they actually did show.
I love
Like,
him.
look, I'm gonna go ahead and say all the trailers that we're seeing for Spider-Man: Far From Home, take those with a grain of salt, because
Because why?
I really think that there's a possibility that this movie takes place before Infinity War.
Well, you could tell that by the preview we saw tonight. Are you kidding me right now?
How?
Nick Fury found him and was like, before he even joined the team, he was offering him to join the team in the preview, Lonnie. So we know this takes place before Infinity War.
Oh, well, not this. I don't know.
Please stop.
I'm just
Stop.
remember this. Remember, I don't want to spend any more time talking about it, but remember this conversation we're having when the movie finally comes out,
Okay.
Oh, we will.
Yeah, we
Trust
will.
me, we will.
and
Yeah.
it's
And-
shown that that movie is probably after,
It's-
and
Okay. How's
just-
it after?
Maybe
when-
that was a flashback scene.
look, Aunt May
Okay.
didn't know.
a flashback scene.
That
Yeah,
he
maybe
was
it was. How
I
can
don't-
it be after Infinity War when he disappeared?
Because he's coming back.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like most of the characters are coming back. That's all going to be undone. But anyway, let's talk about Captain Marvel. Okay, we're going into spoiler territory now, so I'm
No,
gonna go.
Captain Marvel was not like, fuck you and have fun with Thanos.
No, it was a very good movie. Okay, so now we have the little spoiler warning up at the top of the screen. I went ahead and made that. That way people are like,
Spoiler. Yeah, I can't miss that, can you? Wow.
Hey, if you missed that, then you're on your own, man. That's
yeah.
all I got to say.
So just so we know, spoilers from here on. Spoilers for Captain Marvel. Okay, so the first thing I want to tackle, Stan Lee's cameo. That freaking got me. It got me. It really
too.
did.
It
Because
was really nice.
yeah, and
It was, I just don't even know how to describe it because it was probably his most basic cameo.
Yeah, he didn't do
but
anything.
It was his most human
Yeah.
cameo.
Yeah.
She was
And
looking
it was
around.
so ironic that
Yeah.
that was his last cameo.
I know.
We don't know that that's his last one. He may still have one
I
in
was gonna
Endgame.
say, I think there's gonna
Maybe.
be. I think there's gonna be one in Endgame.
Yeah, and
But
But still,
one of,
yeah,
though.
one of the last ones, if not the last one.
Yeah.
that's his first cameo since his passing, and it was like,
That was the most human interaction I feel like he's had with one of the characters.
yeah, and
Like-
she like smiled and nodded at him like,
She knew.
yeah, and that's so.
That was great.
I wonder if that scene was in there before he passed away, or did they add her reaction to him after the fact?
That's what I was wondering when they shot it, because it showed him, and then it cut to her, and then it cut to him. They weren't together. You
Yeah,
know?
I don't
So-
think he's
Well,
really
it was a
together.
Back and forth. So
Yeah, but
I
I don't
wouldn't have
think.
expected that scene to be done any other way.
But I don't think he's ever really on the scene with all the actors and everything during any of his cameos. Because I mean, they
and not all of his cameos are surrounded by actors
no,
like that.
and they
Some
you
of
know
them are.
they had
Yeah,
that
some
One
of
in
them
Thor
are.
was.
they had
not
the thing
many.
like a year and a half ago where they basically brought him into like a soundstage, and he did like 6 or 7 cameos over like a 2-day span, and then that was it. So they filmed all of these knowing where they were going to go, but they didn't have all the actors, present to interact and stuff. So I'm almost betting that they had the cameo, but they changed up her part to give it a more fitting interaction
I agree.
because he's gone. So I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Skrulls in this movie are the good guys, and that very much surprised me because that's not the case in the comics. I mean, yeah, their homeworld was destroyed and stuff, but they're really like trying to take over everything. They've infiltrated
Well,
Earth.
I don't think that they were good guys, right? They just were. They had some bad stuff happen to them, and they reacted to it, right?
Yeah.
And so some of the stuff that they did was bad.
Well, even he said, I'm just as guilty in this war. I have blood on my hands, too.
Exactly.
That's what happens in war.
Right. No, neither side is innocent. And
Right.
so I don't think that they were, like, the good, innocent guys. There was no character like that
but
in
they
this
had
movie
no
except
other choice,
Carol.
though.
Exactly.
You can't really say, I don't think they were good guys when they had no other choice. I mean, they had no other choice. They didn't have a home anymore.
I guess it's
And-
like saying somebody's evil for stealing food for
Yeah,
their
stealing
family
food.
when they're starving.
Yeah.
From someone. Exactly.
So-
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My thought about it is that they are. I don't know if this is getting. You can stop me.
Nope, go with it. We've already talked about it.
I kind of had the feeling like they were kind of like a metaphor for refugees, and that's like
I mean, they blatantly said it. It wouldn't really You can go ahead and say it happened in the movie. I picked up on it, too. It's obvious.
well, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I don't think it's like some deep,
Yeah.
epiphany or anything. I just don't know how political we want to get with UNN.
I mean, it was...
Look, this movie is.
We don't know how political we want to get with UNN, but we got Ask Me About My Feminist Agenda shirt on.
I
Thanks.
guess that's true.
This movie is like a political lightning rod. There's no way to discuss it
Yeah.
without discussing.
Oh, you can. You just choose not to.
Yeah.
So
But anyway, as far as the
they were
actual
made-
movie is concerned,
they were made to look like the bad guys at the start of the movie by the Kree who held the power, right? And then we find out by the end of the movie that they weren't bad. They
No.
did some bad stuff, but they had bad stuff done to them. They reacted to it. All they were trying to do is get away from everything. And it was actually the Kree who were bad. The ones who were in power telling everyone else, oh, blame these other people. How relevant is that?
This
It was actually a surprise I didn't expect.
This movie
That was one. I saw a lot of things coming in this movie because it's a Marvel movie. Typical things are expected. That I did not see, and when I saw that, I was like, "Wow!" Then I was mad because how dare he brainwash that woman like that?
Yeah.
I mess with her memories. That kind of stuff always gets me every time.
Well, and yeah.
Kind of like in The Walking Dead, when the girl kept thinking it was her dad doing all the stuff when really it was the mom.
Yeah, exactly.
And
there was a lot of this mind manipulation stuff in spoilers for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. if you want to watch that. But there's a lot of this stuff going on by the Kree in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So you know that they're, the Kree are from space. You know they're bad guys. You know they're capable of mind manipulation. You know they have mystical, space powers, right? So I thought it was odd going into this movie that Captain Marvel was a Kree. That was really all I knew. Like she had a Kree, military uniform, and I thought that was strange. I'm like, well, those are the bad guys. Surely something's going to happen, and obviously it did.
Yeah.
So.
I considered this movie kind of a less funny version of The Hangover.
I'm interested to see where you're going with this.
Her memories were completely wiped out, and she spent 3/4 of the movie trying to piece everything together and figure out who she was and where she came from and having little... Look, I'm not trying to be funny.
I think that's just a bad analogy.
That's a horrible analogy.
It's your typical...
There's lots of movies where it starts with someone not knowing who they are. And they have to piece it together. This wasn't at all like The Hangover.
Well, you know what?
The Hangover, they got so drunk, they forgot
Thank you.
what they did. They were not brainwashed into thinking they were something they were not.
They weren't, taken from their family.
This... if you want to make a better analogy, is more like Kill Bill, where she's in the hospital and she doesn't remember who she is or what she's doing. It just slowly comes together. Piece by
look,
piece.
I'm sorry.
That movie's on my list.
I'm sorry. The Hangover is the only movie that I had in my brain that I could compare it to. I know it's a horrible analogy, but it's the closest thing I had.
Night in Las Vegas was the closest thing.
So her,
anyway,
them doing all this and crashing into Earth is how Nick Fury and Coulson first find out about aliens. Like that's their first contact with extraterrestrial life, and Ashley was like freaking out over Coulson looking so young.
Again, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan over here.
Yeah.
When Coulson came on screen, I'd squealed, and they CGI'd him to look young, so... I mean, they did with Fury, too, but...
I was like, all of a sudden, Samuel L. Jackson has not aged.
Next to him.
Great.
Yeah.
They didn't even really have to do anything to Samuel L. Jackson.
Actually, they really didn't.
Give him some hair. Give him some hair, and that's it.
He's so... Oh, gosh... God, it was so good seeing him. That scene where Fury and Carol are escaping, the whatever airport hangar, and Coulson did the thing that he's so famous for doing, which is following his gut and not listening to orders. He let Fury, his boss, escape with what he thought was, the target, they called her, and just let him go. Which is such a Coulson thing to do, because you know it's the right thing, but they don't know, and you're like, yes, he trusted his gut, and it worked out.
It did work out.
He said "feel alive with 2 hands." What the hell does that mean?
Ooh, more Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. spoilers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he loses a hand at some point.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how far we want to get into that.
I mean, how old is it?
It's like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 4. This happens.
I mean, I don't.
So.
What season is it on now?
5 is going to be out in May.
I think it's been long enough.
Yeah.
I mean,
spoil it.
It's fine. He lost a hand, so
one of his teammates cut it off because he was had his hand on an obelisk and it was burning into his body. So.
Oh well, everybody knows in Marvel you can get a new hand. You just go to
cybernetic hand,
Costco and pick one of those.
Way better than a flesh hand, anyway.
Probably.
But yeah, I mean, it took place in the 90s, so he had two hands.
He had two hands in the Avengers.
Yeah, he didn't get his hand cut off until last year.
So like,
funny.
Look, I'm going to go ahead and say that Goose the cat stole the show, and every scene, everybody's looking at the cat. It's kind of like whenever we do videos here and a cat pops up, everybody's like, "Oh, look at the cat!"
It's so funny how Fury was clueless.
Yeah,
and he was like, "It's just a cat, y'all." Like, it's just a cat, y'all. And then finally,
well, the Skrulls were scared to death of him.
Oh yeah,
he's called
like,
a flirkin? What did he call it, a flirkin?
Something like that.
Yeah,
like something out of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, pretty much. And they're like, "It's just a cat," and then it did its thing, like the Demogorgon.
Yeah.
Is that in the comics? I wonder.
I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But I thought my thought while all this was going on was, okay, the Skrulls, like, maybe out in space, there's something that looks like a cat.
Yeah, that was my thought.
And they're like, oh God, but no, the cat.
The cat was
Goose was an alien.
Yes, he was in disguise.
All the marketing leading up to this movie had Goose and all kinds of merchandise. So I knew, Marvel wouldn't just throw an animal in there to be a cute companion animal. So
I don't know.
I mean, they
think
haven't.
about it. I know they haven't, but yeah.
They don't need the help in marketing, let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I had a feeling, what if it turns out to be like, the Deus Ex Machina in this movie and saves everybody at the end somehow.
Or he's actually like a Skrull or something.
Yeah, something important,
Yeah.
Not as in... It's more important than one could ever imagined.
Yeah. Yep. I loved it.
He's better in a lunchbox.
Yes.
Now, the movie ends with... Well, first, you spend most of the movie, like, really wondering who the hell's who, because the Skrulls are... But once you kind of figure out that the Skrulls, hey, they're not really bad guys after all, then I kind of quit wondering, and it... there are a couple of times where, there's a Skrull who's really this guy. He's here to save the day, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Goose ends up eating the Tesseract. Like, the Tesseract is up on this woman.
Fury was like, I'm not carrying that. Yeah.
Well, there was, like, basically the whole tie-in to Captain Marvel's story is she was an Air Force pilot. There was this woman who was working on, like, an experimental aircraft. Carol Danvers went up there to fly it with her. They went up there. They got shot. The Kree discovered her. And, wait, no? Was it the Kree? Yeah, the Kree.
Yeah.
The Kree discover her and start
character.
shooting at her and everything. And so they end up crashing. And this woman... who is also Kree that Carol's helping out. She was disguised, as a human the whole time. Mm-hmm. She tries to destroy the hyperdrive or whatever on the spaceship that they've made. And the Kree end up killing her first. Well, then Carol shoots the drive. And when it explodes, it gives her powers and kind of makes her like, Kree powers. Mm-hmm. Or, And so that's probably like the biggest spoiler of the whole thing. And so, come to find out, the woman that Carol helped had like a floating space station above Earth that was cloaked. They end up finding it, and the Tesseract, the Tesseract has been up there the entire time. And so I'm assuming that after the events of Captain America, sometime between there and the beginning of this movie, probably sometime in the 60s or 70s, she probably fairly easily showed up on Earth, found the Tesseract at the bottom of the ocean, and then, is using it up here, for experiments and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so Goose, while they're up there, eats the Tesseract as like a way to hide it. Nobody thinks about it or anything. And so, in the end of the movie, Carol ends up leaving Earth with the remaining Skrulls to find them a place to settle. And so that's where we come to
Well, I mean, after she freaking saved the Earth from them warheads, that's one of the biggest action scenes, and you just totally bypassed it.
There's so much stuff that happened in this movie.
So much.
I know. It was really a busy movie, but it wasn't so busy that I was overwhelmed.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
Look, I want to ask y'all, one of the biggest gripes that I've seen in the reviews, and this is everybody, they said that it relies too heavily on the 90s nostalgia.
Nope.
Do y'all think there was too much?
No,
I didn't.
No.
They were like,
not by the way everyone talked. Everyone talked like, oh, there's going to be so much 90s stuff in it. It's going to be a 90s movie. Da da da.
Okay, there was
not
a Blockbuster, a Radio Shack, some old computers, a Game Boy.
Yeah.
There were really no more old songs than there are in a Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
True.
Yeah.
There was some 90s music.
Maybe
a 9 Inch Nails t-shirt
8 to
Carol
10
was
songs.
wearing during, while they're trying to figure out, why the, Skrulls are after her.
I would say, counting the songs and the things we saw on screen, a dozen.
Yeah.
Maybe a dozen and a half.
Yeah.
And absolutely none of it had
anything to do with the plot. It was just to let like, you know when this took place.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
It's no different than what it would be in any movie that's set in a different era.
Mm-hmm.
So, James wants to know, were there any other cameos like Pym, Banner, Stark? After credit scenes.
Oh, in the movie, though, there was a Ronin appeared several times.
Yeah, Ronin the Accuser from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. He was
kind allied with the Kree.
Yeah, he was kind of the borderline mastermind that everybody reported to.
Yep.
And he didn't have like that creepy black face paint and crap. So,
so other than that, not really though.
Yeah.
Except in the post-credit scene.
Hey Megan. She just wanted to say hey.
Okay, yeah, you probably want to scoot on through because we're talking spoilers, but thanks for coming by. Now we're going to talk the after credit scenes. There were two. There was one about, a minute into the credits, and then there was one at the end of the credits. Mm-hmm. The first one was a straight-up callback, or a straight-up looking forward to Endgame. I'm assuming that, I don't think this is I'm pretty sure this is a scene that they pulled from the movie.
I agree.
I would have no problem believing that.
Yeah, you know how they had the scene in what was it?
What scene?
It was an after credits scene. I can't remember what movie it was. Seems like it may have been
What's the scene?
Ant-Man.
But what's the actual scene?
It was the scene where Captain America and Steve Rogers and I think Falcon go and see Bucky in the shop. He's working on a motorcycle or something. That was pulled from Civil War.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was directly from Civil War. I believe this scene is like that. And it's basically, I guess, they found Fury's vehicle and they've got the Captain Marvel pager that he used.
Mm-hmm. That we saw in the post-credit scene of Infinity War.
Yeah. Yep. And they actually explain all of that. I also want to talk in a minute about how Fury loses his eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to
James
cover...
said that was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, where?
Ant-Man.
It had to have been Ant-Man, because Ant-Man and the Wasp was after.
I
was fixing to say that was after. Never mind.
So, yeah, they end up finding it, and they've got it hooked up. I guess they've got it hooked up to an external power source where they don't have to have a battery. And it's transmitting just constantly. Well, then it goes dead. And they're like, oh my God, what happened? We got to get it back up and running. And this is...
well, did we ever say who they was?
No. Bruce.
It's Steve Rogers,
Yep.
Captain America. It's Black Widow.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's Hulk, is Bruce.
Yep.
And then, oh my God.
Don
War
Cheadle.
Machine. What's his...
Rhodey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
I was like, what's his movie name?
Pretty much. That was me. What's his movie name? I know his real name.
So They're all watching this.
Yeah, are in their science lab trying to figure out what's making this thing transmit. Oh my god, I just went dead. What happened?
And then as soon as they realize, oh, what happened? They turn around and like, oh, there's Captain Marvel standing in there with them.
Fury?
Yeah, she asked him where Fury's at. That was good. That got me pumped up for Endgame because, God, that's just like a month and a half away, y'all.
Yep, I know.
Like, seriously, a month and a half away. But the final, look, I'm going to go ahead and say that the after credit scene, the one that happened to wrap the entire thing, is the best after credit scene I have seen
whatever.
in MCU history. Like, I'm not, like,
Whatever.
look, I mean, yeah, it doesn't get you pumped up for anything. But
it was good, but it's not the best one ever.
It isn't the best ever.
Look, to me, that's my favorite scene.
Okay.
When I make my favorite MCU scenes, that one's number one.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Okay, that can go on Lonnie's favorites. Let's not put it in the best Marvel's made.
Yes, we can call it Lonnie's favorite.
Well, just letting y'all know, there's somebody out there who thinks, yes, this is the number one scene ever.
Okay, well,
and
when
it's
we
you.
find them, we'll
we found
introduce
them.
y'all. It might not be ever, though. Oh, hold on. Hey, can I introduce you to yourself?
What are you talking about?
Because you're the only one that likes it.
Oh. Well,
I liked it. I just wouldn't say it's the best ever.
Yeah, that's true.
I
liked it too.
No way.
It made me happier than any one they've ever done.
Okay, can I just... I want to talk about just super quick.
Yeah.
You know what's my favorite? I'm sure you can guess. It's the only one where my man's in it.
The hammer.
Yes.
Yeah. That was what, at the end of...
Thor? No.
No.
Had to have been the Hulk?
Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2. That's what it was. Iron Man 2.
I'm almost positive it was Iron Man 2.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite after credit scene?
Quit moving that. Sorry.
What? I was doing
Okay.
fruit.
Anyway. I don't know. I'm going to have to think on that.
Yeah. This after
Don't
credit
put
scene...
me on the spot.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
There's like 25 of them.
I know. I'm having to relive them all in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think which one affected me the most. Probably when Ant-Man got stuck.
Oh, at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Holy crap, yeah.
Really and honestly,
You didn't expect
that's the
that.
one that sticks with me.
Yeah.
When
That would
after
suck, wouldn't
I know, because when that happened, I relived Infinity War, and it was all over again. It was awful. That's the one that affected me the most.
It was kind of messed up to see them in the first after credit scene of this movie looking at the numbers when it's like missing, and it's just like it's like shooting up through. But that almost there's a lot of theories going around about Infinity War, and like one of them is that there's a time jump of several years when this movie picks up, and it's taken them that long to get a hold of Captain Marvel. But if that's the case, why would they be looking at an escalating numbers?
Exactly.
Unless it's unless they're running simulations or something.
I don't think that's going to be the case.
I don't know what the deal is there.
You know what my other favorite one is?
What?
When Bucky's in Wakanda.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Oh, and they bring him his arm.
I may have just squealed in the theater
Oh,
when I saw that one.
Yeah.
But
Oh, he's
yeah.
saying Bruce in the jungle.
Yeah.
That was the first Hulk.
Him gaining control of his rage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first. That was like the first Hulk that they kind of retconned out of existence.
Yeah. I don't know, nothing to me. Nothing beats the camera's like right here, just panning away, and Coulson just does this with his sunglasses. You know. It's so cheesy. It's so superhero movie cheesy. It's my favorite.
Of course it is.
They anyway the final after
That's
credits
Captain
scene.
Marvel.
Sorry.
The final after credits scene that I think is so great is, they never explain through the whole movie, how the Tesseract gets out of Goose. And so it shows Fury's desk. Nobody's there. And Fury at the end of the movie had Goose in there. He had him like a little cat bed, and he's like laying there, and you can tell the cat's just hanging out. And so the after credits scene shows just his desk with his computer and his little nameplate and everything. And out of nowhere, it's quiet. Goose hops up on the desk, and Amber like immediately is like, "That cat's gonna puke." I can tell.
Oh God!
Oh God.
She's like, "I could tell just by looking at him because he does. He has kind of like that look on his face."
It's like,
and then he starts doing that cat thing where they start doing like the convulsions,
yes.
where they're like starting to puke, and he pukes up this Tesseract cosmic cube, and there's like slobber and crap all over it, and it just goes rolling across the desk and rests there. And then he immediately, like without even missing a beat, starts cleaning
just
himself.
goes back to licking himself. Okay, I'm good. Everything's good.
I'm telling you, like
Such a cat thing.
Seriously, one day I'm gonna get that as like a GIF, and I'm just gonna like have it as my profile picture. Him doing that. It's just gonna be running in a loop.
Here
It's
you
like,
tell it, it's funnier.
God, it's great.
It is.
Yeah, oh my God. I laughed harder when you told it just now.
It is. It's amazing. I love it
Hilarious.
because it has like everything that you could possibly want. It has cats. It has a cat puking. It has a cosmic cube.
Yes, because you want
Everything you
cat
want to like
puking.
cat puking.
I don't know
No.
what it is that just fascinates the hell out of me. Because like I just think it's funny when a cat I mean, I feel bad for the cat in question. But it's hilarious when a cat
right
starts
now.
doing those weird like kind
I
of.
feel bad for the cat in question. That's another Lonnie quote for the book.
Pretty much, yeah.
I can't.
I feel bad for the cat in question.
It is amazing. But yeah, to me, that's like the greatest. That's the greatest MCU after credit scene ever. Like I can't think of anything that even.
It
comes...
was funny, but yet very serious at the same time because they're like, you're
Well, they were
wondering
wondering-
where they're gonna find it, you know, and
Makes me wonder what they did with it for, what was it, 20 years?
it's been in his stomach the whole time, girl. And then you just
No, we don't. We don't know exactly
Yeah,
how.
what's the time difference between
It could have been
90s and... when
I'm
you
going to
picked
go
it up?
ahead and wager that this movie takes place in the first half of the 90s.
So that's what I'm saying. So what happened between Goose puking it up and then when
That's-
Fury was experimenting on it in
I got
2012?
it.
Oh,
What
yeah.
movie? What song was playing on the jukebox when she walked into the place? It was
In the-
garbage, wasn't
in
it?
the bar?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't remember.
I think it was.
that's where when she was on her way there, that's what was playing. Was garbage.
Yeah, but it was on the jukebox because when she
Came
went
in.
in, she blasted it and the music ended.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So, garbage. I was thinking that because of the music before that it was like 92. Because, Game Boys were still being sold. And so, I'm just running through, like, what was hot. Like, I think it was like 97-ish, the Game Boy Color became a thing. So, this had to have been, like, somewhere between 95 to 98 is about where this was at. And I don't know. But anyway.
So let's say it was 98. That's still almost 15 years between when Goose puked up the Tesseract and then when Loki came to Earth to come steal it. Because S.H.I.E.L.D. was experimenting with it.
It was dang near 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Nick Fury didn't have a desk.
Well, that's what he probably did, it's just never at it.
I was fixing
Like
to
my
say,
boss.
He was just
Okay,
there.
so he could have, that could have very easily been 2007.
No way! That cat couldn't have lived that long. Well,
It's not a
that's-
cat, he's an alien!
Never mind, sorry.
Now here's
That's funny.
here's the $1 million question for y'all. Where's Goose now?
Right.
I want to know. I got to know that this cat is going to be around again.
This alien.
It's not a
I
cat.
don't care.
I'm just saying, you just corrected her. This
Yeah.
alien.
Thank you.
No, I corrected her because I don't want the cat to be dead. But
You're ridiculous.
he's a
You
cat.
corrected her because you wanted to.
He's a
Pretty
cat.
much.
He's a cat.
Right now.
He's an alien cat.
Can't with you.
He's a, Gazorpazorp or whatever.
Red
The
Skull.
Zorbazorp field.
James said-
Gazorpazorfield.
Because Red Skull found the cube during World War II. Also, Stark found in the water. So, from what you're saying, movies was between 30s and 90s.
No, Stark didn't find anything in the water. They dropped that. The chronological order of everything, Red Skull dropped it right towards the end of World War II. That was 1945-ish. You didn't see the Tesseract again in anything until Avengers.
Well, Fury told Captain America that Stark fished it out of the ocean when they pulled him out of it. That's what he says.
Oh, yeah.
So James is right. Because he asked him, what do you think we should do with this? And as Captain America is walking away, he says, you should have left it in the ocean. Remember?
Did they say that Stark fished it out?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We're positive on this. One of two things happened. Either they just went with that story because classified or whatever, or that's one of those little details that they screwed up.
No way. There's got to be an explanation for it.
Well, we're going to be finding out.
I'm not satisfied with Marvel made a mistake.
Let's
How dare you tell Ashley that Marvel made a mistake?
I don't know. But I'll go ahead and tell you that's what I'm going to be doing with the rest of my night. Trying to figure out what happened.
The timeline of the Tesseract.
Yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll probably end up doing some kind of video on that tomorrow. Now that I'm.
James says they show him fishing it out. But I mean, I could have sworn that happened too.
Mm-hmm. I'm very, very certain.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever.
I've seen Avengers like 40 times.
I'll be back tomorrow with a video. I'm seriously going to do this, and I'm going to talk about it tomorrow.
So there's some kind of gap, and again, we don't know.
They show Stark using a 40s robot while looking for Steve.
Yep.
100%. Yep.
I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah.
Good God, why do I not?
Maybe it's just been a while for you.
Yeah. So Hydra dropped it in the ocean. Howard Stark fished it out.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably somewhere between the 40s, 50s. And
that
then,
was an after credits scene in Captain America, wasn't it?
Probably. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So Marvel got her hands on it from Stark, maybe?
That seems right.
In the 60s, 70s.
I could totally see that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And then she took it, experimented with it, came back to Earth in the 90s. S.H.I.E.L.D. got a hold of it, then Loki came to Earth to get it. Then Thanos went and got it. That could be the continuum of the Tesseract.
I'm going to have to look it up. That sounds right, but I've got to do something.
The final
scene
scene wasn't a post-credit scene. It was just the end. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so ratings on this.
I'm not going first.
You want me to go first?
Yes.
I don't think y'all are ready for my rating.
Well, go ahead with it.
Okay. I've been thinking about this ever since probably the second third of the movie on.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to give this movie a 12 out of 10.
Wow.
I'm not surprised.
So I have several reasons. This one is overtaken Infinity War as my favorite movie in the MCU.
I figured.
So it's now competing with the original Avengers. It's like I don't know which one I like more between the two, original Avengers or Captain Marvel. This movie made me ugly cry in the theater. There was so much metaphor. I saw myself in her in several scenes. I think that's probably the thing that makes you cling to any character ever.
Mm-hmm.
They showed.
Oh, yeah, it has to be relatable.
It has to be relatable, and it was to me. Mm-hmm. Also, I love cats. The cat had a big part of it. I love Coulson. Coulson was a big part of it. I love 90s nostalgia. That was a big part of it. There was nothing in this movie I did not like. It could have gone on for another 2 hours. I'd have been engrossed in it. I don't think I've had such a good time in seeing a movie,
Mm-hmm.
in a while. I loved everything about it.
Why are you looking at me? You're next in line.
Oh, shit. Here's the thing.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to give this movie an 11. It is. It's very, very good. But it has not toppled Infinity War for me. Infinity War is still my favorite.
That's fair.
Like, it's not... Like, it... Look, I'm going to go ahead and say, like, there's several 11s in the MCU. So it's like... You know, how big of an 11 do we need? Like, these are all movies that I could watch over and over and over and never get tired of them. But I liked Infinity War so much more, and it's going to really take a hell of a movie for... Like, I don't even know if Endgame will beat Infinity War for me. But this was an excellent movie. I have no complaints. Basically the same thing she said. And
Did you get weepy at all?
during the Stan Lee parts.
The Stan Lee parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another thing I meant to throw in there too.
They did the cameo and the actual thing. The after credit scene, obviously, that I loved with Goose.
Lord.
Oh, and just for the record, how Nick Fury lost his eye is Goose had decided, I guess, had kind of calmed down a little bit, and I guess Fury got a little too comfortable with him, and he held him up. And here's the thing about cats. You never really want to hold a cat right up to your face and stare into its eyes, because they take that as a sign of aggression. That's how they piss each other off, I guess. And so he holds Goose up, and Goose takes his... And see, whenever I first saw the scene, I was like, oh, Goose just...
That was the final injury. He had injuries all through the movie to that same eye.
He did. It was like
trying his best to get that eye to heal up, and that scratch was the final straw.
At the beginning of the movie, it was like a little scratch on the eyebrow, and then at the end, it was like swollen shut. So...
Yeah, I mean,
great,
when the injury...
That was so comical.
Yeah.
In the minimal sense, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was just a running gag through the movie.
Yeah, it was.
So they gave him a whole thing of glass eyes.
And he didn't go that route.
That was so funny.
This came for you, and I was like, what is it? I was like, oh my god, it's glass eyes.
But
she obviously doesn't use.
Right.
When the injury first happened to his eye, though, from the cat... I thought it was just, oh man, that was a close call, and I thought, that was going to be a thing for later. But after they showed it, I was like, oh, he actually did. It did.
There were 3 lines
down some deep
face.
claw marks all the way down his eye.
Well, have you ever noticed Fury doesn't have just the eye patch. He's got stuff coming out of all...
It's all scarred up and
scarred
stuff.
Up
so, yeah, that's what happened.
So I'm sure, there's been other things then. But
what did he say that really happened? Like the Kree got him or something?
The Kree burned his eye out because he wouldn't give up secrets or something.
Yeah.
That cat was called a flurkin.
A flurkin.
And it was funny because whenever the cat scratched him, he was like, Mother Flurkin.
Yes.
That's right.
Mother Flurkin.
Oh, God, I about lost it. It was funny. No, he said Mother Flurkin. He wanted to know if they allowed an F-bomb. Was this movie PG or PG-13?
Probably PG-13 because of the violence.
Yeah.
Well, the violence.
I don't know.
No, there was one scene Amber made a funny joke, and I just was dying. What did you say? Oh, it was when the Skrulls first showed up, and we didn't know what they were.
Yeah,
so it was just
and
big...
said, I'm so sick of these motherfucking lizards and this motherfucking shit.
When they were doing the autopsy.
Ashley just about fell out on the floor laughing at me.
That's what y'all were going on about. I was over there, like, kind of scooting away, acting like I wasn't with y'all, because y'all were just... I was like, what the hell? There's nothing funny on the screen right now.
I said something epic and you didn't hear it.
Pretty much. That was great.
That was funny.
Okay. Amber, your review score?
Yeah. What?
Y'all.
Y'all.
You love us.
Honestly, say that was funny as hell.
It was.
Don't lie. I'm going to give this movie a 10. It was really, really good. Y'all know how much I love backstory.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite parts that you didn't mention was when he changed the name of the projects to the
Yes.
Avenger Project.
It was originally called the Protectors Initiative.
Yeah. And then he changed it after he saw the name of the plane.
Yeah,
I loved that.
Carol Danvers was known as like Carol Avenger Danvers on her plane, and he saw that
And thought it better than
Yeah.
the Protectors. And that right there really wrapped it up in a nice
Yes.
little
yeah.
boat
it
for
did.
me.
Mhm.
It was really good.
They did an amazing
Favorite
job
parts.
of basically telling the origin of everything.
Yeah.
in
Because
this.
he was like, we discovered her on accident. Just imagine if we really looked.
Mhm.
I mean, it was really good. It's one of my favorites. It's not my favorite, but it is one of my favorites. I will recommend people to watch it. So,
I could see us probably going to see this one a second time.
I want to see this in theaters again.
It's worth
I
a
don't know about
second
all that.
viewing. I think there'll be a lot of
it's
things.
hard for me to pay theater money twice. I don't know.
Oh, it'll be a matinee, I'm sure.
Like a Sunday matinee in a few weeks.
Maybe.
Yep. Yeah. There was I was gonna say something and I think it left me. I think I'm getting tired.
But no, it wasn't the Defenders Project. It was called the Protectors in the movie.
In the movie, yes.
I don't think they ever had a name for it beforehand in the comics. They just... Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure Nick Fury didn't have anything to do with the Avengers when they first started. He was just a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent or a S.H.I.E.L.D. director or whatever.
But they had the perfect amount of 90s nostalgia, too. To show that they didn't overdo it like typical movies would. Like, because people do eat up 90s nostalgia. You know? And it tends to get overdone. And in your face. And it really wasn't in this movie. And I like that. Because I'm not going to lie, I was a little concerned when people were saying that. And I was like, I really don't want this to be cheesy.
You know, whenever she crashed through the Blockbuster at the beginning, you were like, "Oh, here we go." And then,
That's what I mentioned to Ashley right away. Is like when she came out, there was a pizza place right next to it. I was like, a Blockbuster next to a pizza place? Well, let's just get it all in one shot. You know, which wasn't a lie. They kind of did get it all out in the first half of the scene.
Yeah.
I mean, the first half of the movie. You really didn't, other than the music, you really didn't see anything visual 90s.
what about the scene where they're like trying to play the CD black box recording, and it's like loading on the
pretty
computer?
She's like, "What's the
They are
holdup? What's
looking.
taking
Yes,
so long?"
they're so confused by
Because
how
they've got
long it's
holograms.
taking,
She pushed
yeah.
a button on her like arm thing. They've got a hologram of
I can change
galaxies
my outfit
away.
right here. You know.
Well, she
Using your mind.
Well, I mean, she went into a Radio Shack and used a phone, a Game Boy, and like 2 other devices to like create a hologram projector. You know, it's like, I'm
That
sure
was really neat
that
to
computer.
see her work with what she had.
And she redid Fury's pager so that it could literally page her from light years away.
2 galaxies away is what
And it
they
still
did.
worked in 18 when he used
It was rough looking, but it worked.
Yeah.
It'd seen better days when they showed that scene.
That's
And
true.
what about her superpowered look? That was pretty cool looking.
Oh, that was amazing.
When she finally just let go and
Just really embraced it.
just
Yeah.
unleashed. She was all fiery. She reminded me of the freaking Phoenix.
Me too. That's what I was thinking about.
I was like, holy crap.
I was like, that's amazing.
But she did it better. You know.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and wrap because we have been going way too long on this.
How long's this one been?
No, it's great.
Well, I don't know. It's like midnight. We've been going almost an hour. Wait, no, I didn't give no 9 out of 10. I gave it an 11. Amber was 10. Ashley was a 12.
12.
But the little
And your
Seymour
Marvel
thing.
knowledge
Oh, it
is
does
top
work.
notch. Just saying.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and wrap
Love
up.
those
Thanks,
scenes.
James, for hanging out with us. We had a few people in the beginning who really scooted on out before we hit the spoiler angle.
Oh,
So.
James said that was his review of us.
Oh, dear. Yeah, thanks.
Oh.
So of course you got
Okay.
9 out of 10.
Hey, that's
I'm
still
just
an A.
glad I got 10 out of 10. That's awesome.
Hey, you know what?
That's
I wasn't even trying tonight.
I'm still certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
Jesus. That was so funny when she got her new outfit and
She called her fresh.
called her fresh. I was like, oh. Like, I know now that's a fun, it's a funny slang. Like,
Yeah.
oh, your shirt's so fresh.
Yeah.
All the kids are saying it. But that's a Rotten Tomatoes thing.
That wasn't done on purpose.
No, it
because
was not.
so
But it
recent,
was funny.
But it worked. It worked so much in the context.
They could have said, you got swag or something, but they said fresh, and then the
But
Rotten
swag
Tomatoes
is
thing
not
happened.
90s. Fresh is.
Oh, that's true.
That's why she said that, because Fresh
That's
Prince
true.
of Bel-Air.
That's true. Well, that was a bad example. But yeah, could have said, another word.
It worked out. I see where y'all are going. I just don't care.
All right. Well, everybody have a good rest of the night, and or it's morning now almost, and we will.
I'm gonna die tomorrow.
I'll be on tomorrow with. I'm going to be doing some Tesseract research, so join me for that and live stream tomorrow. And
Yeah, I want to know if I'm right.
we're gonna. I'm going to find out. So everybody have a good rest of the night. I'm Lonnie.
I'm Amberlicious.
And I'm Ashley.
And we are Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux and your local Satanist out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. This has been our live spoiler-filled Captain Marvel review, the night of the premiere.
Spoilers.
Yep, everywhere. Everybody have a good rest of the night.
Spoilers on there.
And we'll see you tomorrow.